Hello and welcome to this month's Magic Divorce Club workshop. I'm so glad you're here. Um, you should be congratulating yourself on making space if you are struggling with brain fog and all of the other stuff that goes on in the brain when you're going through divorce. Like just showing up for yourself is already, a step in the right direction. So if you feel like your brain is foggy, noisy, if you're feeling stuck or like your brain is completely uncooperative at the moment, you're in exactly the right place. I have been there, I have experienced it, and so have, I'd say, 100% of my clients. So, breakup brain is one of these things that's like a really common response to periods of high stress and emotional overload. And as you know, going through divorce is exactly that. So there is nothing wrong with you. And today is all about understanding what's happening on like a kind of body level and learning how to steady your system so that you can start to feel clear again, and make some really good decisions. So, in today's talk, I will walk you through what's happening in your brain, what's happening in your body, and why this comes up. I'll help you to identify what seems to make it worse, like when these moments come up. I'll talk about why you can't think your way out of it. It seems counterintuitive, but you just can't. And I'll give you some really helpful tools so that next time it happens, you know exactly what to do. Because you get a recording of this class, you're able to use these tools over and over again and just keep coming back to it. If any questions or real life scenarios come up, then please do get in touch with me and we can talk about it and work out what to do next. It would be really helpful if you have a piece of paper and a notepad and pen available. And if you are watching the replay, you can always use the workbook that has been sent to you with the replay, because that is there to support you through this. Okay, so let's get started. When your nervous system feels under pressure or unsafe, your brain basically shifts into protection mode. So it will prioritize scanning, analyzing, anticipating, looping scenarios, self-protection, or what it thinks is self-protection. And you will struggle to get any form of clarity, any form of like rational decision making. It's just not available. And so, what is basically going on is that we have these three layers of brain. So, the bottom layer is like it's a little lizard. So, it evolved a million years ago, and all it cares about is your physical safety. And so, it's going to interpret everything that's going on to you in your divorce as immediate danger, like a lion's chasing me. And so, because this level of the brain feels like that, it hijacks everything else. And so, on top of this lizard brain, we have the mammalian brain. So, this is the part of you that governs the emotions. And then, on top of that, is where the cognitive thinking lives. So, if the lizard is freaking out, everything else freaks out with it. It might be that you're feeling safe, like you know on a logical level that you are safe, but your emotions are still like running wild and you're feeling things all over your body. That's where like the mammal brain will take over and you still can't think straight. So it's like we need these two little brains inside to feel like probably looked after. Like if you imagine them as like a little lizard, a little like mouse, and we're going to try and keep them feeling safe. And as soon as they do, they'll settle down. And that's when cognitive thinking comes back online. Hooray. So clarity is not a personality trait. It's not something you're born with or you're not. It's all about the body and the body feeling safe so that you can access the bit of the brain that does the thinking. So, what I would love you to do is to take a moment to think about when you experience things like brain fog or, this overthinking loop of not really knowing what you're meant to do like next. Take a moment to reflect on that. So, if you can, write in your notebook, when is breakup brain showing up most? So it might be when you receive an email, or it might be when you know you need to make big decisions. It might be after an uncomfortable conversation or in anticipation of a conversation. Maybe when you think about money. It might be when you try and sleep. That's a good one. Or it might show up in your parenting. So, you get your kids back and then you're suddenly in this fog and you don't know what to do next. So just take a second to think about what the patterns are when it's showing up. And we're not trying to fix anything. This is purely an exercise in noticing. I'll just give you a second to think about that. Okay. So the important thing to know here is that it's not possible to think harder. That is not going to get you out of this situation. So, this is not an intellectual problem that you have. This is purely helping your body feel safe. So, most women do try and respond to brain fog by thinking harder because we're really capable beings. We're used to this. We've problem solved our way through our entire lives. So it makes sense that we should analyze more, reread it, and maybe sense will come out of it. Maybe somehow we've just stopped being as smart as we were. Not the case. We'll try and look for where the problems are and what we can solve in that situation. But this isn't, like I say, a thinking thing. This is all about your nervous system feeling overloaded. Too many open tabs at the same time. And so that tends to send us into a spiral. And therefore, more thinking actually makes it worse. It creates more noise, more open tabs, more open loops that don't seem to resolve themselves. And so we stay in this state of like, it's not even just necessarily anxiety, but this low-lying feeling of, I don't know what to do next and I can't settle. But luckily, if we can't think our way out of dysregulated nervous system, the good news is that there are other things we can do. And let me tell you that I have learned this all the hard way. So again, this is not an intellectual thing. This is about just not knowing necessarily what to do to make the body feel safe because we're not taught it. It's not something in the syllabus. There's no GCSE in having a calm body in order to make your brain feel safe and able to think. So, what I would love to work through is a few tools that you can use and to keep in your sort of toolkit for when you notice that this is starting to come up. You already identified where you've noticed the patterns of it showing up. And that's really crucial because once you're fully in your lizard brain, it's not very smart. It just wants your body to feel safe. So it's like hyper vigilant and it doesn't know how to get out of that. So the tools I'm going to teach you are things that we need to practice regularly so that as you notice yourself slipping into this, back into brain fog, back into overthinking, these are the things that you start to use before you're fully into panic mode. Okay, so this first tool is called a topper